Well, good morning and welcome to CityLine. It is great to be in your home. We are live every Thursday morning, and this morning is January 23rd, and wow, is it wet out there. So please stay dry and drive carefully. Later on in the hour, we'll be talking with Metro Parks. They have a brand new addition to their creating opportunities to learn, play, and grow. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but it has to do with food. That will be in our last segment. And then Noel is here from Tacoma Opera, and he's here to talk about and introduce us to two principals who will be performing in the upcoming production of Tosca. Tacoma Musical Playhouse is here. We have John, we have Harry, and we have Kat, and we're going to be talking about Beehive, the 60s musical. And then, of course, our pet of the week is here as well. Victoria will be here, and she'll be introducing us to Barnaby, who is such a pumpkin. And then with me right now, I have an individual who is new to this position, but not new to Tacoma. I'm talking to Brent Mason. He is the new executive director of Foss Seaport Museum. Welcome, my dear.
Thank you, Amanda. I think we should just fast forward and have Barnaby come on and take my spot.
Well, you know, this is the deal. I mean, you know, at least you don't have to follow him. Kids and pets.
That's true.
You're ahead of them.
There we go.
Exactly. When you and I were talking before the cameras came on, and we were talking about kind of your career path and working in nonprofits and radio, share with our audience, what was your career path up to this position?
I was going to say we could go way, way back,
Yeah.
but you know, I've been in the Tacoma area or the South Sound area for 20 plus years, and have done a lot of fundraising during that period of time, and have done everything from Point Defiant Zoo to a lot of the public media stations in the area. And I think what you and I were talking about is just having a passion for what you do, and being able to wake up in the morning and looking forward to coming to work. And so that path, that circuit has led me to the Seaport. And it's a great opportunity. I was talking with some of the staff a little bit earlier. When you're used to driving to, you know, Lower Queen Anne or to Tukwila,
yes,
the opportunity to take 10 minutes and actually walk to work was definitely enticing. But the Seaport is a gem, and I'm looking forward to working with a great board of directors, fantastic staff, great group of volunteers, and being able to make that museum one of a kind.
It is one of a kind, and the fact that you get to walk to it fits in with all the local fingers they have on that waterway.
Indeed.
What inspired you to become their executive director? Your background, you can do anything.
I'd like to think so. You know, and it's funny because as we were talking about the career path, there was a point in that career where had to decide whether or not I wanted to be a director of anything,
Yes.
an ED or CEO or what have you. And I had really kind of gotten to that point where I came from being a director of philanthropy, and I thought, well, maybe that's where I'm supposed to be. And this opportunity presented itself. Decided to throw my hat in the ring, and lo and behold, the board saw to it that I was given this opportunity, and I don't take that opportunity for granted. So it was just right place, right time.
Yeah, absolutely. And we were just showing a picture of the beautiful place where you do hang your hat. What a gorgeous building. So naturally, I think the next question we all want to know is, are you a boater?
And that also goes back to our previous conversation, doesn't it? Because some of the places that I've worked, I haven't had any interest initially in what it was that I was fundraising for. No, I grew up in Southern California on the beach, learned to sort of be out of the boat but be in the water. And I think that where this passion comes from is being a huge fan of Tacoma. I really love the downtown, the community, the feel of community.
Yes.
And then along the waterfront, it's almost like its own little community into itself with the museums and the development that's going on. So not necessarily a boater, but definitely a water aficionado. And what I want to be able to do is be able to tell the story about the waterfront, how it impacted the city, the heritage, the commerce, the people. I think that's an important lesson. And as we get older and the young folks are coming up. I think it's important that we pass on those legacies and those stories so they don't fall by the wayside. I think it's an important story to keep relevant.
I love that. So you've talked about some of the opportunities that you want to exercise because you opened that door. When you for somebody who does not boat, do you see it in your future that you are going to learn how to boat and take others with you?
Well, let's just put this out here. This will be the ad. Anybody that's watching us now, if you have a boat, I'm interested.
There we go.
You know, and what's that saying is never own a boat, just know somebody that has one.
That's exactly it.
I think that's the way to go. And,
that is perfect.
And being at the seaport, there's no shortage of people that own boats. If not, I'll just kind of go along the esplanade and put my thumb out and see if I can't hitch a ride.
Yeah, a little water taxi action right there.
That's
there
exactly
we go.
It.
You know, as we were talking about your background in different organizations, what struck me about you, Brent, is that you have this incredible love of learning where you can just sit down in a different organization, be it jazz or classical music that we were talking about, and just absorb it and learn it and live inside of it. And I predict that's exactly what's going to happen to you in this position.
Well, you've heard that saying, drinking from a fire hose, and that's kind of what's been going on. But and again, I think that truly this goes back to the board of directors. It goes back to the staff. I bring a unique skill set to the table. They have all that institutional knowledge. It's incumbent upon me to tap into that.
Yes.
And to be able to walk the walk and talk the talk. It has to be real, and it has to be sincere. You know, because part of my role is fundraising, and I can't go in and BS somebody on why it's important to support the seaport. They have to feel the energy and the passion for it. You bet,
you bet. So, speaking of that seaport, what's your vision? I mean, I know you've only been there for 6 weeks, but knowing you probably had a vision when you said yes to the interview.
Well, if I didn't, the board sort of required it from me because one of the questions that they asked is put together a 30, 60, 90-day plan. It's like, good gosh, I can't even think about tomorrow, and I have to think 90 days ahead. You know, I think what the challenge for the museum is twofold. One, it's the awareness. I found that there's a lot of people, even in Tacoma, that don't know that it's there. So be able to create that awareness. And then secondarily, we've done a great job of putting this beautiful waterfront together, creating this beautiful building as some of these pictures have shown. Now it's about turning that inside and making it the place that people want to go to learn about environment, to learn about boats, to learn about all those different things, heritage, culture, people.
Yes.
And so we're working on that part. That's the challenge. It's both the vision and it's the challenge. And but again, had I not thought that I could be the right person in partnership with all these other people, I probably wouldn't have applied or taken the job. But it is definitely the hot spot to be. So anybody that's watching, I expect to see them down at the seaport.
There we go. So speaking of coming down to the seaport, what events do you have coming up that we need to know about?
Well, as I'm sure Metro Parks would tell you later on this morning, I mean, it's getting to be, as much as the weather doesn't say so, it is, we are coming up on spring and summer. So we've got a long list of kids programs. I would invite viewers to go to our website and take a look at the education programs. We have a chowder social that's coming up in April. We've got a boat shop renovation project that's going to be kicking off in March that is going to take that boat shop and make it much more accessible to the public. And we've got a myriad of events that'll be occurring between now and through the summer and into the fall. So rather than give the dates and times that nobody's going to have time to write down, I just invite people to go to the website and check us out.
Perfect. So as people are checking out that website and perhaps they're thinking, I think I'd like to maybe volunteer, or gosh, I have an extra boat I'd like to teach Brent how to sail in. Are there opportunities for that?
There is. We have dozens of docents that are responsible for giving the insights into the museum. We would love to have folks, whether you're working and you're just looking for a weekend volunteer opportunity, maybe you're retired, regardless of whether you have experience with boats. Look at me. Come on down and we'll learn together.
Oh, there we go.
And so there we can tag team, and maybe we can get on a boat together, and off we go. So,
Okay, talk about fundraising. That's got fundraising all over it. I would pay to be on a boat with you to learn how to sail because I get to know you. So why don't we start out with sail away with the executive director and have people actually pay to do that?
And I would be fine with that. Like I said, make sure that when you leave the house, bring your wallet and checkbook, and we're good to go. Yeah, definitely.
I love that. So you have mentioned just a lot of goals you have for the Seaport. If people haven't been to the Seaport Museum, what's the one word you would use to describe it?
Wow. Actually, I'd probably use four. Diamond in the rough.
There we go. I love that.
It's perfect. And don't just, when you're driving by on Dock Street or on 705, when you look over and you see this cool building, don't just think of it as a cool building. Think of it as some place to come and learn, bring families, bring friends. It's just a great place to be. And doesn't matter whether it's rain, snow, or sunshine. We'll eventually get to that.
Yep.
It's just a really cool place to be.
Brent, thank you so much
Amanda,
for letting me sit here and chat with you and get to know you. And you and I have a date in 90 days.
Yep.
To talk about goals and how you're doing and how those sailing lessons